In what year was the U.S. Social Security Act signed into law? In what year?
What year?
And, while you think that over, I might as well talk about the Patreon. If you guys want to support us on the Patreon, go to patreon.com/Carscast. It's a great place to go if you want to toss us a couple bucks if you're a consistent listener of the pod and you want some extra content. Head on over to patreon.com/Carscast. And Jeff, what's the answer?
Okay, so here's my thought process. Working conditions for people in the 1800s for the entire duration, like even the start of the Industrial Revolution, terrible. We're talking like I'm blanking on the book, but it's about like the meat packing in I think Chicago.
Yeah.
I would have sounded smart if I could throw this off. Like I'm blanking on both the title and the author. Like if you gave me a list of 100 books and authors, I would be able to
select the one.
Yeah, but off the top of my head, it's not coming. Yeah. Is it the Jungle by some like Upton?
No,
something?
Wait. I was asking for the year.
I know. No.
Oh, okay.
I made up my own trivia question.
I was like, you can be right on that.
Yeah, I got past your trivia question and just gave my own. Who was this book I'm thinking of written by, and what was the title?
I was like, they do have the answer here.
Yeah, I'm going to say 1921.
Ooh, it is 1935, actually.
I knew it was in that, like, kind of between the two wars period.
Yeah.
Because that's when they started, in America, they started being like, workers.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't kill them all.
Right. Speaking of America kind of doing that exact thing right now.
Yeah.
A whole ass new era of the pandemic has happened since the last time we recorded this podcast.
Yeah.
It is kind of crazy how much has happened since the last time we recorded.
Yeah, it was nice because I got to come visit, Chicago and hang out with you for a week. And it was right at the beginning stages of the Omicron. I'm saying it like the scientists.
Yeah.
The Omicron wave. So it was when we knew it was going to happen, but before there was any real tangible effects of it.
Yeah.
In America. Yeah. And then since then it's just been
it's really popped off.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is one of the few times where it might be safer to be in Florida during the pandemic than it is.
Dude, it's never safer to be in Florida. No one wears masks here.
Oh, well, I guess never mind. I haven't actually looked at the Florida cases. Is it really?
It's bad.
It's pretty bad here.
The thing about Florida, right, is that because no one takes any precautions at all, Florida pre-Omicron had the worst wave in the entire history of the pandemic in the U.S. Right before that with Delta.
Yeah.
And then at that point, so many people had gotten it that I think, a lot of people had extra immunity. So then for a while, we had no cases essentially.
Yeah.
Because everyone already had it.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, if I just go into the old Google and look at the chart for Florida,
cases,
it's terrible. It's we're doing close to 60,000 cases a day.
What? Oh my God.
Yeah, the chart doesn't look if you look at that chart at the end there.
Yeah,
that's not that part at the end.
That's not a good thing to look at.
Big spike right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had tickets to a hockey game. I'm not going to that.
No.
Yeah, because it's just going to be 19,000 people all not wearing masks.
Right.
In an indoor environment. So I don't think I'm gonna.
I'm curious. Do you think? Because I know people's answers to this has kind of changed over time. How likely do you think you are to get the virus at this point? Do you think you're gonna get it? Or
over what time period?
I don't know. Honestly, and I could be wrong here, this is coming from our friend Nick, who is not a reliable source. No offense to Nick. But I think he said he read somewhere that someone or some, it might be the CDC predicts that like, what is it, like 50% of the country will get it in the next 3 weeks or something crazy like that.
It's something really high. I don't
Yeah.
have the exact number, but I mean, I have the the booster.
The boosty woosty.
Yeah, but and the thing is, of course, the misconception with boosters. I don't know why we're turning into like a medical podcast. Now.
No, well, it's just I was
but
like, I don't even need to
just-
look up news
yeah,
for this
it's
week.
like the the booster. The point of the vaccine is primarily so that you don't die if you get it,
yeah,
and then it gives you a pretty good chance of not getting it. But it's mainly
Right.
that. So I feel pretty good about my chances on that.
about
But I
not
think there's a
dying.
pretty decent chance that I will get it at some point in the next few months.
Yeah, me too. It's kind of weird to think about. I kind of like, I'm really not looking forward to getting it when I inevitably get it.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to hope it's like the vaccine's doing its thing.
I am taking precautions though. I think here's how I'm going about this for now. I'm kind of like going to hunker down for these 3 weeks, like the holiday surge, just because I'm like, there's like people are definitely going to be getting it right now.
Yeah. Oh,
honestly, right now.
That is a very good plan because, especially with the rate of transmission, eventually, the virus is going to run out of
Yeah.
people to infect, because the people getting infected are generally the ones who are the highest risk for getting it. Whether it's
Yeah.
like what their occupation is or like their lifestyle.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you just kind of hunker down, the wave should probably last another 2 to 3 weeks, and then it should start going down.
I'm
That
hoping.
is just my opinion based on
prediction. Yeah.
empirical evidence and my lack of expertise, but
It's gonna
you
be
know,
a tough
that's what-
January.
yeah, we're just two people just kind of hanging out, giving our own opinions on the pandemic.
You get a Shure microphone and you start talking medical advice. That's
or like,
that's-
this-
You turn
this
into
is
Joe
the
Rogan.
Daily.
Yeah, this is.
And then they have that big like string section, like
Yeah. Relating this to the movies, I'm like, I don't really feel comfortable, to be honest, going to the theater quite yet. I think
Yeah,
right
I feel that.
right now, especially in just Chicago, it's like 23% like positivity rate. I'm
Yeah.
like, I just I don't want to be in a room with other, especially to see like, I'm like, I'm not going to see Spider-Man in theaters. I hope everyone
Right.
knows that. I'm just not going to see that movie because
And if
I don't
you-
want to see it that bad.
if you are gonna go to a theater, don't go to the Logan theater.
No, yeah,
Because like with your new TV provided by Sony,
it's probably
you have
bigger
a
than
better
those
experience
screens.
just in your it's
Yeah.
about the same size screen. And they don't have OLED.
Yeah, exactly. We
How
can
are you
talk
liking that
openly. Dude, off the record, it's such a great TV. It's like, it's obviously
Off the
it's
record.
Well, we're on the record. this is online now. But
You just beep that whole thing
Yeah.
off the record, and then it's just a sine
Yeah.
wave for
not
20
an
seconds.
ad. I'll say that. Like, not part of the ad here. This TV has been like the best thing.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
was jealous
nice.
of that TV.
Yeah, most of my friends are. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know what to do with my my old one because I was just like, I guess now I have to like, and I just bought that one like kind of less than a year ago at Costco, and it's like a decent TV, but
Yeah.
I just ended up selling it. So I made even more money off this sponsorship. I'm like, wow, it really just kind of kept. But now I'm regretting it because I'm like, I could have used that TV for something. I feel like,
Yeah.
it's fine. Yeah. What else has happened?
How was your holiday?
The holidays happen. Yeah,
We
the
had so much
holidays-
stuff to talk about because I haven't seen
Yeah.
you in like a month.
Holidays were fine. I mean, I assume this isn't an issue you really had because I feel like your parents, you've just been with your parents, but it's like it's hard to like come from Chicago to a different city and like hope that everyone's safe. I was like,
Yeah.
I had mixed feelings over the holidays. I know it's like complicated for a lot of people, but I'm just like, should we be getting together? And we ended up getting together. Thank God, no positive cases came out of the gathering.
Yeah.
But, I was just on edge, I think. But it was,
Yeah, I was in Los Angeles because my sister
right,
lives there.
yeah.
So we like flew there, but we all took tests beforehand. And
yeah.
like, airplanes still science. Again, we're getting back into the whole pandemic science.
Yeah.
Brought to you by the Carscast, but airplanes are still fairly safe because they circulate air really well.
Yeah. That's the thing. Well, the thing is, like, I feel safe on the airplanes, but not
but the airport.
airports. Yeah. It's like,
because you just walk around, tons of people with their mask like this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and then whenever they're on the phone, they pull the mask down to take the phone call. I'm like, what is happening here?
The flight attendant comes and they're like, "You want anything?" And they're like, "Yeah, can I get a water?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, thanks."
Like, I would jump out the plane if I was a flight attendant.
Yeah,
I would just pull that emergency latch and just hop right out.
Parachute on you. I saw. I don't know if you saw the tweet. I've been off Twitter, but people have been showing me the tweet. Like 3 separate people have shown me this tweet of the person taking a picture of someone texting on their phone on the plane, and you zoom in on the text, and it's like, "Yeah, we tested positive, so we're leaving today."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Wow."
I think that has to be like a hoax picture.
I mean, as much as I want to believe that, I also believe there's a lot of Americans
I believe people do that. That's the thing, is that even if that picture is not legitimate, like, definitely people do that.
Definitely people just
people
lying
would
to
rather
leave.
put other people at risk than slowly inconvenience themselves.
Yeah. Man, that's why I'm just like hunkering down, not leaving the.
Yep.
Our friends were supposed to go to Palm Springs for New Year's, and that didn't happen. I think I'm just scared of O'Hare, to be honest. O'Hare is a petri dish of a place. Anyway.
Do you like Midway better than O'Hare?
You know, I've only been to Midway once, and it's like it is chill. It's a chill airport. I can't really speak much on its like quality as an airport, but
I mean, it's the Southwest hub, so it's an airport that pretty much only services Southwest.
Do you use Midway pretty consistently? Like,
not recently, but I remember my favorite thing was once I overslept when I was supposed to leave for my flight.
Yeah.
I got to Midway. I literally got into the airport after my flight had started boarding, and I still made it onto the plane.
Oh, my God.
Like, that's how fast Midway is, because it's such a small airport compared to O'Hare.
That's what
great.
I do.
I literally, within like 12 minutes from entering the airport, I was at the plane.
That's amazing. Yeah, because it takes like, an hour just to like maneuver through O'Hare to get to your gate.
What about that underground bunker that has like the neon lights on the top?
That's the best part about O'Hare. Yeah.
Yeah. I forget which airport I was at. I think it might have been like Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
There was this like weird, like similar to that, but theirs was jungle themed, and they just were projecting like jungle noises and had trees everywhere.
The Rainforest Airport.
Yeah.
They got a Rainforest Cafe, and that's really good. They got like birds flying around. I know that is a thing actually at
in
O'Hare.
airports.
There's, like, or airports in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough airport
What a great
talk.
intro segment.
Yeah. I was gonna. Well, actually, I had a question, but it's actually one of our Q&A questions for today, so I'll leave it for then.
Yeah. So last thing before we get into the movie, are you releasing Karsten Rundquist NFTs?
You ask this. You ask this every week, and the
everyone's been
answer
asking. The pressure's been building.
See, you asked this on the last episode, and I know because I had to edit it, and I went through it, and I was like, fucking Jeff asked if we wanted to make Carscast NFTs. And now you're asking me if I just want to make solo Karsten NFTs.
Yeah, solo.
And the answer is no. I have no... I mean, I'm, again, not to beat a dead horse, but I'm off Twitter. I get a lot of what's going on over there through just the YouTube videos I watch. And apparently NFTs are the talk of the town yet again.
The best thing on Twitter was that Richard Karn, the guy who used to host Family Feud and was on Home Improvement, released a tweet of a picture of him like smiling, and it's like about an NFT drop for Richard Karn. Richard Karn NFTs.
Everybody's getting in on it.
But then he got so much pushback that there's another picture of him where he's like, I've decided not to release Richard Karn's NFTs at this time.
A Notes app apology. That's really funny. That's the thing. It's like that's what's so dumb, but I realize so accessible about them is like, it's not like actual manufacturing goes into these things. You just
it's like
I'm going to do it.
Website.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to do it. No, I wouldn't. What would my NFT be? Like my logo or my
It would be
long toast as
Yeah. Oh, long toast as an NFT, dude.
Yeah.
Someone would buy that for at least $300.
I'll sell stills of long toast. It's probably like it's not
Signed
that many
stills, yeah.
frames total. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that for the record. Do you have any NFT plans, Jeff? Your basketball profile
No, I
picture? That would be
My basketball profile.
that would
picture.
really pop off. That looks like
I
an
probably
NFT.
could. I bet you someone would make, or they would pay me $2.75 for that,
yeah.
and it would be my mom. I'm like, Mom,
I
I
had
need
a-
some NFTs.
I found another Borislow in my notifications the other day. Someone liked us on SoundCloud, and it was a last name Borislow, but I don't remember. It was like it started with an E. Do you have any E family members, or
I may.
maybe it's just a
I don't necessarily want to dox them.
no? Yeah. Let's not do that. Speaking of the world, I guess I don't know.
Speaking of, that might have been our worst segue we've ever done.
That was fully my.
I was
my
taking
mix
credit
up.
for it too.
I appreciate that.
We failed together, Karsten.
Yeah. Today we're
The motto
talking
for
about
the podcast.
Don't Look Up. It's the genre is under comedy disaster.
I mean,
forget-
that actually that's very apt.
Comedy disaster. It's the latest from Adam McKay. And it stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Kate Blanchett, Meryl Streep, Timothy Chalamet, Ariana Grande, like so many people. And the synopsis reads, 2 low-level astronomers must go on a giant media tour to warn mankind of an approaching comet that will destroy planet Earth. It's been the hot gossip recently.
It has been, dude, and
people really like talking about this movie.
It's very divisive.
Oh, very divisive. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I feel like his last movie, Adam McKay. That's not the name of the last movie, but Adam McKay's last movie, Vice, was pretty widely hated. Like, not a lot of people liked it, even though it got like a Best Picture nominee. I personally had a good time with it, but Don't Look Up. There's some people that really enjoy this movie, and some people that think it's like the worst thing that's happened in years to movies. And Jeff and I did see your Letterboxd review. I think we are both actually on the same exact page.
Oh yeah,
Where we don't think it's a good movie.
yeah.
And you, Jeff, I'm actually very curious to hear about, because it's just like I feel like you know a lot about comedy and are a little bit more in tune with comedy filmmaking than I am, and I want to know your perspective on.
It's giving me a lot of credit.
Yeah,
So I appreciate that.
on like how this works as a comedy, if it's even funny.
Yeah.
If it's
So
like
that's-
what is it doing?
My biggest issue, and this is a very specific to Adam McKay, is that I think you can put Adam McKay's career into 2 categories, where he does the very the Will Ferrell movies,
Yeah.
and then Adam McKay more like serious films, like
Yep.
like Vice and The Big Short, which are these
Yep.
historical, like biographical films
Yep.
that he kind of puts his spin on. Where he does those like the freeze frames and like the little like text in the picture.
Yep.
It's the whole Adam McKay thing. I don't think it works at all when you try to blend the two, because that's what
Yeah.
he's doing here. He's making this like film that is a farce, but he's still trying to make it hit these tones that he hits on his biographical films.
Yep.
And it doesn't work when the things that you're like putting these little like boxes of like freeze frame and like point something out. It doesn't work when you're the one who made up the thing that you're freeze framing.
Yeah.
For Vice,
Yeah.
it would be like, this actually happened.
Yeah.
It's like, haha, this actually happened.
Right.
And it works because you're like, wow, that's crazy that this is like a biographical film and that thing actually happened. But it's
Yeah.
like, it doesn't work when the film is entirely something you wrote that makes no sense because it's stupid and it's people that act in a way that no one would ever act.
Yeah. Yeah.
This film kind of infuriates me.
Well, it's like no one likes being yelled at or talked down to. And this film feels incredibly like I'm being talked down to or being told it's my fault or that I was out of touch or I'm not doing enough and that it's trying to be funny in the process. I'm like, you're not this like some of it's kind of funny in the way it like pokes fun at more like authoritative figures in the film. I'm like, because I'm like so detached from that, I'm like, that's funny, like politicians. But in general, I'm like, it feels like I did something wrong when I'm like, no one here is in the right. And I think that's the root of my issues with this film.
Yeah. The thing was that this film is so dumb that it makes me feel like Adam McKay thinks I'm really dumb.
Yeah.
It felt like, you know how they have, children's shows like Thomas the Tank Engine or something where they have this episode of trains talking to each other and there's some very obvious moral of the story that they're like trying to get you to like understand where it's like teamwork is great. That's what this film felt like, to me, where it felt like it was giving me these really basic concepts and like trying to spoon feed it to you. Like, you're stupid as shit. Like, you do not understand this. So we're going to give you the most obvious thing and pound it into your head for 2.5 hours for some reason.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like his last two movies, I feel, had some sort of purpose in that. Vice, in my opinion, I'm not someone who grew up in the Bush era. I'm kind of out of touch with Dick Cheney and what specifically he did. I know he accidentally shot some guy, but I'm really like not into. So like I saw that film as like kind of, I mean, I realize it's a very biased take, but I'm like, this is interesting to me because I'm like kind of learning is a stretch, but I'm like I am learning a little bit about Dick Cheney here, and like even if it's an incredibly biased take, it's interesting to me. And The Big Short is like, that's why I think The Big Short was so widely praised, is because that was an even more like complicated or like hard topic to wrap your head around, and he did it in a really accessible way that drove home the idea of like, this is when the world was like getting destroyed. And Vice was another example of like, this is what was happening during the Bush era. And now this is like, we all know what's going on. We all are so aware of what's happening outside. You don't need to do your Adam McKay and he doesn't really. He doesn't do those like stop and explain moments that he does in The Big Short.
He only does
Vice.
it like once, but I mean the tone, I meant more of like the tone of it is like the
exactly. Same. Yeah. But it's so irritating because I'm like, what am I actually, and I talked about this in my Letterboxd review, I'm like, what is actually being gained from watching this? Like, what is the benefit of this film existing?
I don't understand who it's for.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to convince the people that don't want to do anything about climate change. Right. And obviously, and also it's like the stupidest allegory ever, because climate change is like this, because like you get the thing where it's like, oh, there's this impending thing and there's like a inflection point where it becomes something you can't do anything about any longer. But it's just the film it doesn't. If you didn't know it was about climate change, a lot of people probably don't understand it's about climate change because it's just not a very, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's just and the thing is, if you didn't know that's what it's about, it just comes off as an incredibly stupid film. Yeah, because no one acts in the way. I think using a comet is stupid because no one acts like every character in this film does not act as if someone would act in. My brain is breaking talking about this film.
No, I know. I'm with you here.
With a comet, that's people wouldn't be like, no, that's not happening. Like that's just not even what happened just from the get go. I know that's supposed to be this farcical like allegory thing, but that's just so unreasonable from the get go of how anyone would react to the situation. Yeah. And I get that's agree. Like the point, but at the same time, it also makes the whole film not kind work
at all
for me.
Yeah. I do want to go back to like the whole like who is this for thing, because I'm like, if this is because okay, if this is for people who are on Adam McKay's side here, which is like in general, it's a very like left leaning film. It's very like just liberal Democrat movie.
Yeah.
It's like, what is there to gain? It's like watching SNL and seeing them do like Kate McKinnon dressed up as Fauci. It's like, oh, haha, that's Anthony Fauci. It's like there's nothing that you're getting out of it other than just like some sort of like satisfaction in seeing like an accurate portrayal of the world. But I'm like, that's clearly there. That's what I'm saying is like, there's nothing really to gain from that. And if this is for the opposite side, if this is for people who are denying climate change, it's like the movie is so petty and like angry at you that it's like they're never gonna watch this movie or even give it a chance. It's like the people that would benefit from this film would never come close to it just because it's such an angry movie lacking any sort of compassion.
Yeah. It reminds me of the Twitter accounts where it's people who are super left-leaning and all they do is just make like dumb jokes about like conservatives, but they don't actually do anything. Where it's like that's just for people who like want to hear someone who agrees with them make jokes about things that they agree with, rather than actually doing anything productive. You know, there's like I remember there's this Twitter account called like Brooklyn Defiant Dad or something. It's this guy who somehow has like 1 million followers, and all he does is just like tweet vaguely like liberal points.
Yeah,
and everyone's like, I agree.
I know. Like, it's like there's so little being like, I don't know. There's nothing to gain from any of that, and that's kind of what this film reads as to me. And I do want to say that to give the film a little bit of defense or whatever, I was entertained. I thought it was like kind of interesting in the moment, and I think we might disagree there. I think I liked it a little bit more than you because of that. I was like, Jonah Hill's good. Actually, didn't really know where else to go. But I was like, when the movie ended, I was like, okay, that was like watchable. That was interesting. It was kind of fun. But literally, I think it took maybe like 10 or 15 minutes until I was like, you know what? No. There was nothing in that movie.
And I think actually it kind of epitomizes what we're talking about, where like it's not going to change anyone's mind. I don't think that a single character in this film had any kind of perceivable growth. Everyone started in one place and they ended in that exact same place. Yeah. And honestly, that's a great point, actually. The actual characters in this movie, if anything, just kind of like, they show like the worst sides of them. Yeah. In that they just kind of like deteriorate. And at a certain point, it's hard for me to decipher how much of that is the point of the film, where people just are who they are. But the thing is, everyone's these caricatures of a type of person, and then they just play out those caricatures for the 2.5 hours. Yeah. And I think there's, you could say some positive things about that, but for me, it just creates a weird film experience.
Yeah.
Like, I think that maybe the intent was there, and this film came across as intended, but for me, it just is weird, and it annoyed me.
I just think people, and mostly the cast of the film, like Leo had this video the other day that he posted promoting it and was like, this is just such, I'm getting a call. He was like,
cool if you took the call though. The podcast.
It was Adam McKay. He knew what we were doing. I should have taken the call. You're right.
He should have been like, Nick. He'll be like, don't look behind you.
Yeah. Don't look up.
Watch your back.
Leo was like, this is such an important film for our time we're living in right now. And I was like, it's only important for people that want to say it's important. Like, it's not no one. How is this movie important? I'm begging you to tell me, because literally this film is not making any progress other than just saying what's happening, not actually saying anything we can do about it.
Because the things to do about it aren't things that any of us can do. Unless
if anything,
it's all like corporations and countries and policies.
Yeah. it just
like there's nothing
leaves-
I can do. If you know what, if I could kill myself and it would save the planet, I would do it. But I can't
Yeah.
do that. It's not gonna work.
It's like a big pat on the back too. There's like this stupid moment at the end of the movie where they're like, I'm glad we tried as hard as we could or something. I forget what she
Yeah.
said. She's like, we tried our best. And I'm like, oh, what a pat on the back for just saying what's happened. I'm like, you're Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah. It's like, did you try your best? I saw you driving a car during the movie.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I'm like, what are we walking away with here other than just like a pessimistic, like, you know, you could even make a movie about this and people still won't listen. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, maybe it's because your movie is like yelling at us. It's
Yeah.
like,
And
not us, but
I
you know.
think that I could forgive a lot of my problems with this film if when you strip away the the meaning behind the film, it on itself could stand as like a fun disaster movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it does not at all. It literally the entire time feels like it's just preaching to you.
Exactly, yeah. Because there are disaster movies out there that are like super simple and like
Yeah.
they're just like the world is ending and this is what
Like
would
The
happen.
Day After Tomorrow, classic disaster movie.
Yeah.
It's just Jake Gyllenhaal and Dennis Quaid
Right.
like running around.
It's
in,
literally
like,
a
the ice
better
world.
example, to be honest. Yeah. Because
Because it's actually about experiencing the disaster, where the movie, doesn't. It's just all about like waiting. It's like waiting for Godot, but Godot is the asteroid and then or comet, and
yeah.
that's as far as I got with that
Yeah.
metaphor.
So yeah, that's I'm glad we're on the same page here.
The thing is, I wanted to like it because I really liked The Big Short and I liked Vice.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay,
Right.
another like serious Adam McKay movie, and then it started, and I'm like, this doesn't feel as I
No,
hoped.
yeah. It's just it kind of like runs its thing into the ground.
Yeah. And it's why is it 2.5 hours
It's
long?
2.5 hours long for no reason. Could have been an email.
Especially
been
for
an
like
email.
it's just like a one-note film. This could
Yeah.
have been like 95 minutes.
Yeah. I will say, I'm going to touch on this. I got an interesting DM from someone who read my Letterboxd review, and he was from Norway. And he was kind of saying how he was like, this, I just disagree with what you said, because I had no idea this was kind of like what Americans were like, or like how this was, how the
Yeah.
American government acted and stuff. And it was just like really entertaining and kind of tragic to watch it unfold in the movie. And I was like, this is a good example. I
That
feel
is
like
that's a good
if
point,
there's
actually.
anyone that's going to benefit from this movie, it's people like this person who it's like, maybe you don't live in America, but you're on like the right side of things. And this is more like informative. But I'm like, it still begs the question, like, what is that person going to, like, other than like a greater sense of like awareness, like, okay, this is what's
Yeah.
going on. But it doesn't really leave you with anything other than, damn, like, we're probably gonna die if this happens, which is yeah. I don't know, and that's why I liked Vice, is because I was like, I didn't know about this thing, now I know about
Right.
this thing. It was a little
But that was a
dramatic,
real
but
thing,
that's fine.
even though it was,
And that was-
a little bit of this, it was at least based in reality.
And yeah,
The-
obviously this is climate change, but I'm like,
Yeah,
it's not really a thing that I will. Okay, I'll cite Demi's thing where it's like, I do admire Adam McKay for making the movie. It's a
Yeah.
bold kind of movie to make. It's like, you went there, but it truly does not feel like a feasible project. Like
that's
a
that,
thing
and that's the thing. I totally understand making a blockbuster style film, where it's not overtly preaching this viewpoint. Where you could maybe get some people who have completely opposing views to kind of get the foot in the door.
yeah.
But I don't think then at any point it becomes overt enough for them to not be like, haha, that was a movie about a comet.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so it's just in this weird. It's a weird movie.
yeah. And I
Now,
don't know if you know. What are you gonna say?
Sorry, I just want to say it is also this incredibly American-centric film where they don't think until the last minute any other country would try to intervene.
That is true. Yeah, it's super like this is America's take, which might be the point of the film, but
Yeah, I think so. I mean, my with my own, kind of understanding of geopolitical stuff, I think likely what would happen is if the U.S. failed to act, Russia would probably do something because Russia tries to do anything that would make them look good to other countries.
yeah.
That's why they started giving vaccines to Cuba. They're like,
yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know. It's a weird film.
It's a movie that's so clearly made by someone who's living in a what's it called, echo chamber, or a bubble, which is so on brand for someone in Hollywood like Adam McKay, who's just surrounded by other people that are basically the people that made that Imagine video with Gal Gadot. It's just people that think they're changing the world by doing nothing but saying, "Hey guys, this is what's actually happening."
Yeah.
When I'm no, you just learned that it's happening.
So is it Gal Gadot?
I think it's. I don't know. I thought it was Gal Gadot, but it could be Gal Gadot.
Yeah, because she's Israeli, not French.
Oh, so it's probably not Gal Gadot.
I think it's Gal Gadot. Yeah. The
man.
thing though is that actually no, there was a tweet I saw that was where Gal Gadot had a child, and Gal Gadot was like, "I would do this every week or something," and then someone had the best tweet I think I've seen in a long time where it said, "Imagine all the people."
Dog. She's never gonna live that down.
No.
It's a shame she was just the first
they.
person in the edit, and
Yeah.
Except I think she organized it, so maybe that's why she gets so much shit.
Yeah, I think something like
anyway. I don't know if you noticed this about the movie, but all politics, I guess, aside, the editing was dog shit. I hated the editing in this movie, and it might just be because I pay attention to it, but I'm this is it was split seconds of clips and then cutting back. I'm what was that a mistake? What happened?
Yeah, it felt like Adam McKay was deliberately trying to make the film look like it was edited in iMovie.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
I was hoping when you said, I don't know if you noticed this about the movie, you were going to say something really basic. You're but Leonardo DiCaprio was in it.
Dude, that was him. He just had glasses on. But
I was wait, what?
What? Or I don't know if you noticed this, but that evil scientist was supposed to be Jeff Bezos. Which pretty crazy.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
I also felt like it was supposed to be Steve Jobs just because they started with the whole phone thing.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be
it's just a stand-in,
very
generic,
vague. Yeah. My uncle thought it was Elon Musk, and I was it could be Elon Musk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could
it just
Jeff
feels like
Bezos,
it was
could be Bill
a
Gates.
combination of all the tech guys. Now the problem I had with that was I don't know who that actor is, but they were a major part of Ready Player One. And they speak in this film with the exact same cadence. So all it did was make me think of that the entire time.
It's Ready Player 2. Sorry, wait. I heard a beeping.
I hear a beeping too. Is your house on fire?
Truck reversing outside.
Okay, that's good.
I thought there was a fire. I was did I turn off the stove? That'd be really funny.
Did you?
Well, it wouldn't be funny.
That wouldn't be funny at all. You should.
Should I go check if I turned off
the
stove?
Go check. Yeah.
You know what? You talk about.
Okay, yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, now that I have you all here, the Tampa Bay Lightning won their most recent game, I believe 4-1 over the Calgary Flames.
I turned off the stove, so thank God.
Yeah. That's. Wait, was it on?
No, I turned it off earlier.
Oh.
It was not on. That would have been crazy. The thing is, I've done it once before in my life. Also, now I'm blown out, which is just great.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. What are you feeling for a score here? Also, what did you talk about when I was gone?
Nothing.
I asked that. No,
I didn't have
okay.
anything prepared.
Alright.
I gave it a 2 out of 5.
That's, I think, exactly what I gave it. Yeah.
Yeah, because
You know, I started with a 3, and then I was like, nah, I really didn't like this movie.
yeah, that was the thing. It's like the thought of watching this again makes me want to get hit by a comet.
Yeah. That should have been your letterbox review.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I thought about that, and then I realized that that's going to be like 35,000 people's reviews
Yeah.
who didn't like the
Yeah.
film. They're going to be like, I wish I was hit by the comet.
Yeah. The best letterbox review for this is one where they said Oscar-worthy performance by Leonardo DiCaprio for pretending to be or for dating someone his age or something like that.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I'm gonna check out my window real quick because I hear the beeping again. I just
Yeah.
want to make sure it's a truck and not someone else's alarm. So, yeah.
All right, yeah. All right. Okay, he's gone again. Yeah, I got
I
nothing.
see no truck. So hopefully it's fine.
Yeah, that's probably fine, right?
It's the end of the world right now. Anyway, speaking of, well, never mind. I think that does it for the movie. It is, if you haven't seen it yet, what are you gonna say?
One last thing.
Yeah.
They had this running joke throughout the film that they just like pounded into the ground, and it wasn't funny.
Was it the granola bar or something? It was the bag of
was-
chips.
It was like the fact that the general
She had to pay
charged
for
them.
'em.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was
Why is that the hill
That was
that
kind
Adam
of a
McKay was
dumb
dying
joke.
on for
So-
the comedy in this film?
some people really liked that joke. I also didn't really get it. I was like, this is
it was a fine joke.
was
so, like,
fine,
you say it the one
yeah.
time, but I don't think it's funny enough to keep repeating like 5 times.
yeah. The only again, and I've said this before. I think the only funny part about the movie was Jonah Hill. I thought he was, and I think it's just because
Yeah.
I missed comedy Jonah Hill. But he was good in this movie.
Yeah, and that
I
was
really
my
liked
problem.
it.
This film could have been funny if it was a grounded film living in some kind of shared reality that we experience. But the problem is that I didn't understand like how anything worked in
Yeah.
this world. So nothing was funny because it didn't feel like there were any stakes.
Someone
so, like,
is
it would be funny if in our world, if Jonah Hill was saying all those things,
right,
but
yeah.
it was in this world where no one cares about anything.
Someone's ringing my door now, so I think I'm gonna go see what's.
Oh
going
yeah, do that. Go.
I'm gonna check real quick. Okay, be right back. Everything's fine. It was just an Amazon package. I was like, this is not important.
Nice.
Now I'm out of breath. Anyway, should we move on to questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Whew, gotta catch. I have to run down. You know my stairs. I had to run all
Yeah.
the way down to the first floor and back up. These come from the first one comes from the Patreon, patreon.com/carscast, where if you donate $15 or pledge $15, you get those questions answered in these regular episodes.
It's a good deal.
Yeah. This one comes from Gavin Gibson, and it is, has there ever been an occasion where a film or a TV show has introduced you to a song that you've went on to love? Has there ever been an
Ooh.
occasion? The best example I could come up with is The Wolf of Wall Street. It's a cover of Mrs. Robinson. Not by Simon and Garfunkel, but it's like a cover. And it was like so good. I was like, "Oh, this is amazing!" And this is before I knew about the Simon and Garfunkel version because I was in like high school and out of touch. And I was like, "This is great!" And I learned it's a cover, and then fell in love with the original. That's like just one of my favorite scenes. Is that Mrs. Robinson scene?
Yeah. Now, I actually do have an answer for this. I'm pretty
Hell yeah!
positive.
That's
I
what we like to
believe
see.
that this is correct.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So, yes, I do. Okay, this is a factual. I have a great answer for this. I'm ready. Okay, so when I was like 13, I saw Wall Street for the first time,
Okay.
And the ending song for that is "This Must Be the Place," and that's the first time I ever heard it.
Wow.
I was probably 12 or 13.
Damn. That's funny that both of our answers had Wall Street in the title.
Yeah, it is.
If Wall Street's doing anything, it's introducing us to some good music.
Yeah,
That's great. Jeff had an answer.
I know.
It's amazing. Well, that answers that. Thank you, Gavin, for the support and for the question.
It would have
This
been
next
funny
one-
if your answer was like a musical documentary.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, it was the Beatles documentary. I love that
The Beatles Get
song.
Back. They introduced me to the song Get Back.
Never heard it before.
Really great song, yeah.
I like the part where Paul just mumbles, and then it turns into the song.
Yeah. Have we talked about this? What's your favorite Beatles album, Jeff? Not song, but like album.
Yeah. Well,
It's my question, not someone
it's a
else's.
good question. I like the later albums usually better than the earlier albums.
Yeah. Me too.
I'm just gonna. What if I'm like one? That's the compilation of the number
The
one.
greatest hits. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Let It Be, and maybe it's just because of that documentary, but I was like,
Yeah.
these got some good songs in here.
Yeah. Let It Be's good.
Norwegian Wood. That's the song off of Rubber Soul. I keep
Yeah.
getting mixed up.
I
But Rubber
think my
Soul's
favorite
good.
is the White Album.
Yeah, the White
Yeah.
Album's good. Yeah, nice. Well, hey, thank you, Gavin Gibson, for sparking this conversation, or I don't know. This next one comes from. Wait. Oh well, this Toothpaste Eater has a request. It is, could Jeff read the comment section for his licorice pizza review? I personally think it's the funniest thing of all time. Now,
Oh boy.
I forget how long that comment section is, but
so
it's pretty chunky.
I'll put it this way with this ratio: it has 210 likes, and it has 63 comments.
I think I contributed recently. I put a comment in there.
Yeah. Well, the issue is that it's actually picked up a lot of steam recently.
Yeah. For your
Yeah,
licorice
it's
pizza
pretty much just
review.
long strings of people commenting what was above them.
Yeah.
So it started with like a lot of Jeffrey Borslow moments. Then someone said something that wasn't that, which I'm not even going
Yeah.
to mention. It's not worth mentioning. And then everyone said you ruined it. That was about 10 of those,
Yeah.
or maybe 15 or so. Yeah, and then we got a couple Karstcast moments.
Right.
And then it's currently on this long string of, bro, just stop commenting, please. We have collectively failed to keep a streak. And then there's
And then
at least a
Everyone
dozen of
commented
those.
that.
Yeah.
One of which was me. I said that.
Yeah. I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, congrats to everyone keeping that streak going.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think well done to everyone involved, including Karsten and I.
We did what we had to do. Great. Well, that is not a question, but I did want to bring that to light because it was a big part of our week, I guess.
It was a big part of my life.
Yeah. This one is the question that I had earlier. It is from Almeri V. Borslow, and it is, what has been one New Year's resolution you've actually gone through with? Well, my question was going to be, what's your New Year's resolution, if you have one? But
I
this
didn't
one,
have one.
I didn't really have one either. But, yeah.
I've never gone through with one.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like it's rare if someone does,
I
It's
think
fun to
I've
come
only
up
ever
with them
made
and
a
then
couple.
give up
Yeah. Yeah. I
by
think I've only made a
February.
couple of them, and then I never did any of them. So I just
Yeah.
stopped at a certain point.
This wasn't a New Year's resolution, but it counts as one. But when I was really little, I decided to be a vegetarian on New Year's unintentionally, and I made it exactly 1 year before
That's
I
pretty
broke
good.
for Burger King chicken fingers,
Yeah.
chicken fries. Yeah,
That's not a great thing to break for.
no, but they were really good at the time. I really wanted some.
Yeah.
But I did go. Technically, I followed through with that. A few years ago, I said I was going to read more books, and I did read more books that year than I have in recent years or before that. I don't remember the exact count, but I really have dropped off on that. I don't read as much as I should. But that's
Yeah,
Yeah.
you read a fine amount, I'm sure.
I read maybe like 5 books a year, which
See, that's good.
that's okay. Yeah. I buy a lot of books a year. Don't read like
But you
any
get
of
to
them.
look at them.
I can look at them and say, these are my books.
Yeah.
Have only read 3 of them. Anyways, this next one comes from Dr. Aneurysm. And I asked this before at the start of the podcast. Let's get an update. Where do you see the Carscast going in the future? That is a good update question. Good time to reflect on the pod.
And just like our first ever episode, we did an Adam McKay movie.
Oh my God, we did. We did. That's so
Wow.
funny. I anticipate we review some more Adam McKay movies down the line.
Yeah. We'll update you again at the next Adam McKay release.
We definitely want to I think just like figure out some new segments. We want to spice things up in some way. We both have higher quality mics now thanks to the Patreon. So thank you, patrons.
Yeah. Well done to all of you for giving us enough money for these great microphones.
We want to get on some I mean this is just in general, these are kind of the same goals we had before, but I'm like I want to get some new cool guests on.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. And more of the advice episodes. Those were
those
really
were fun.
well received and
Or that was fun. It was
well played. Like people listened to that episode, and I'm like, I had a good time with that.
I did
so,
too.
I think Jeff and I will have a few more advice specials down the line. Maybe some
a
like
guest for an
other
advice episode.
Yeah,
You never know.
you never know.
We're just spitballing here.
right. And yeah, that's kind of what I had in mind. I don't know if Jeff, if you had.
Yeah, similar. I'd like to do some more in-person recordings with you, and then next time we'll have like a video
Yeah.
set up for the in-person one somehow,
Absolutely. Yeah.
so that they don't have to just trust us that we were in person.
Yeah. Oh, we have a Carscast TikTok.
Yeah.
Coming.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yep.
And
I do. I just got a new computer, so I'll be able to actually edit now instead
Hell
of my
yeah.
8-year-old laptop.
There we go. Nice. Let's check out this last comment or last question. Actually, is that everything? That might have been everything. That was all the questions I had. And you know what?
Yep.
That's okay.
I do have a question for you.
Hit me.
Are you wearing a turtleneck right now? Or is
I'm
it a-
not.
is it-
I'm wearing
is it
a
as a fleet. It was behind the mic.
sweater with big buttons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But it does
saying
look like
that 'cause
I'm
I
wearing
just-
a turtleneck.
The thing is, I realize I'm like a turtleneck would work.
I do own a turtleneck. It's a little tight on me, but I'm like I do enjoy turtlenecks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next, we like to get into our wrap up. We are both wearing something that is like kind of on our necks right now. I
Yeah.
just realized you
It's a
have
quarter
zip
zip.
ups. Yep. We like to get into our wrap up, starting with announcing our next movie. And Jeff, did you have any ideas? Because I had an idea.
Ooh,
but
I
wanted
to. I want to hear the idea, Karsten.
Okay. It's on Hulu, and it's a goofy one, but I've heard it's kind of fun. And it's
Yeah?
Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar.
I actually had that on the list of things to have us do. So.
Awesome. Yeah, because I still haven't seen it, but
haven't
something
either.
about it, I'm like, this would be a good podcast movie.
Yeah.
The tagline is the friendship we all want, the vacation we all need. I mean, come on. And it's on Hulu is the best part, so we can just watch that.
And you can
On
watch it
Hulu.
on your OLED TV.
It's not sponsored. This podcast is not sponsored.
Sponsored by OLED technology.
Yeah, in general. And next we like to read a review because we love to hear what you guys have to say about the podcast, and it helps us, look good. So this one came from Awesome Cool Effects and More from the USA. The subject line is beautifully human, 5 stars. And it reads, I love this podcast. Jeff and Karsten make for such a calming environment And don't make the podcast sound too formulated and 100% planned out. There is some dead air, awkward moments, but I love it. They don't edit all these moments out, and it makes the podcast feel more like a conversation between two friends. Thank you, Karsten and Jeff.
Like the podcast kind of sucks, and that's what we love about it.
They're really lazy and it sucks, but that's what we like about this podcast.
Yeah, it's like they're just like my friends.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Awesome,
I love how
cool
you're like,
effects
let's
and
make
more.
it in the future. Let's make it more formulated with more segments. And they're like, you
Yeah.
know what I love? There's no formulated
There's
segments.
nothing. They just kind of hit record and see what happens.
Yeah.
And lastly, we'd like to thank the patrons over at patreon.com/Carscast. If you've noticed how great the quality sounds this episode, it's because of our brand new mics.
And if the quality
you
doesn't
guys-
sound great, something horrible must have happened to the audio.
Yeah.
It's not the mic's fault.
It's not the mics. And yeah, if you want to help make the podcast better like this, like these kinds of situations, the best way to do so is by pledging on the Patreon, patreon.com/Carscast, where you get exclusive access to bonus episodes, Q&As, shout-outs at the end of every episode, and much, much more. If you are ever looking for a time to become a patron, now's the time, because we're about to roll out some really cool perks.
It's 2022. We're going to
2022.
make some stuff happen. I got
It's
a new
time to become
computer.
a Carscast patron.
We're going to be TikToking in the near future. We're going to be, Karsten, how much money per month would it take for us to take a crazy vacation somewhere? The answer is zero amounts of money because we're not using your patron money for vacations. That's the answer.
I was like, where's this going? And you really, that was
I
a
wrapped
great.
it back up into a bow. We're using this. We're putting almost all this money back into the podcast.
Exactly. So if you want to help make this podcast more than just a human experience, apparently, then, consider becoming a patron. Now is the time.
Or if you just like Karsten and I want to give us some money, that's fine too.
Exactly. If you just want to toss us $5 a month,
just like kind of like a little, like you slide under the table more. It's like, yep, $5.
$5 a month, and you're getting a ton of cool stuff. One of which is a shout out at the end of every episode, which I'm about to do right now.
And if you give $1,000 a month, Karsten will have 5-hour video call with you.
Oh my god. That's not true, but thank you. Alex Thomas, Anson Contreras, Antonio DeMarco, Blake Root, Boat, Brandon Yu, Brock Schultz, Camilla, Coop, David Sir, Eden, Finn Richardson, Gavin Gibson, Good Night Tail, Grant Gow, Harry Remedianakis, Jaden Easton, John Van Hout, Carson do a backflip, KDT, Let's Change the Google search results for PTA, Liv Rob, Lukewarm, Maddie Robertson, Martin Deff, Mary Lee Borslow, Meridian, Monopoly Shrimp on the Barbie, Monroe Page, Norby, Owen Felton, Riley Oss, Sean Kenny, Sophia Arieta, Stella Perry, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, Smitty Orban, Jagerman Jensen, Taylor Hardy, The Raccoon from Airbud's 7th Inning Fetch, Tobias Broke, Tom Lakes Beans, Vegard Strom, Wes Kinley. What would you do if when you so he said yes would go?
What?
One more time. What would you do if when you so he said yes would go? Wiley Todd, Xavier Fosier, Yusef A, Zoinks, and Zoe Hernandez McDonald. A lot of new names.
There's a raccoon in 7th Inning Fetch.
All you got to do is Google 7th Inning Fetch, and
Raccoon.
you're going to be treated to quite the poster. Yeah.
Is the raccoon the Bat Boy?
He's like the villain.
Is the villain?
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Which makes-
I think I watched your video and I now am recalling that
You
the raccoon.
yeah.
It's like Meowth for Team Rocket, but it's the raccoon for the people trying to capture the dog.
Yeah. The raccoon is doing tasks that honestly the humans could have done themselves, which is what's stupid about it.
I also have a question. So
Yeah.
raccoons have like much better hands than dogs. Couldn't the raccoon just play baseball?
Yeah.
And then they could make tons of money.
Oh my
from
god.
that?
The raccoon would probably be better at baseball than
Right?
Buddy was.
And
Buddy
also,
was so
the
bad.
raccoon would have such a small strike zone; it would get on base every time.
Yeah. Yeah. We should write the next Airbud. Really change things up.
If it wasn't impossible to direct animals in a way that I think is like ethical,
Yeah.
that would be really funny if we tried to direct
The
like
next
an
Airbud.
animal, like an Airbud parody.
They play billiards. That would be
Yeah.
our take. They're like they're pool sharks, but they're
It's just
against
would Airbud
actual
hit
sharks.
would would Airbud hit the ball with like his nose
yeah. You just
or would he
And-
have the stick on the table and
Yeah.
because he's fetching it with his mouth, so would he be like this?
it would make sense because each one is like a different stage in Josh's life, and maybe Josh is like hanging out at bars a lot now.
Yeah.
And he takes
So-
Buddy at one point.
Yeah.
And he's like, Buddy, you can play billiards too.
You're like, buddy, how are you still alive? But it would make sense as like the origin story because they'd be like, oh, this dog loves picking up sticks.
Yeah, literally.
It makes
Maybe
the
we
most
gotta
sense of
get on
any
this.
of the sports
Yeah.
because it's just mostly holding a stick, which is like what dogs actually do.
Right. Damn.
Damn, we really, I didn't realize the issue is that no kid wants to watch a movie about billiards. All right, back to the
All
drawing
right.
board.
Well, I think that does it
anyways,
for today. Jeff, anything else to say?
Catch you on the flip side.
Catch you on the flip side.